Listen to this episode if you feel like you only have friends, family, acquaintances buying from your small business and you really want to break out of that and start having strangers come, go through your buying process and start to buy from you. This is a common stuck point that a lot of people come to me in, is that they feel like, you launch your business, you're excited, your friends and family and friends of friends they're supporting you, they're excited, they're buying from you, and then all of a sudden you're a couple months in and people kind of stop buying, that support is starting to dwindle, and you're starting to see your sales kind of decline, but you're not really sure how to break out of this cycle. You feel like you might even have a lot of other small business owners. Today, we're going to talk about this major topic. This was actually a question submitted inside of my Small Business Cafe, which is my free podcast community. If you'd like to join, you can click the link in the show notes below. It's completely free. You get more access kind of to ask me questions. You can submit different answers. I will gain some more support there. You also gain access to a major group of other business owners that you can get feedback from and bounce ideas off of them there as well. The question that was asked says, I only have friends and family buying from me. This was submitted by Jessika. Her context is, I've been in business around a year, but only friends, family, and other acquaintances are buying from me. I have maybe gotten one or two stranger sales, but I don't know how to break out of it. My friends and family had slowed their shopping, so my sales are decreasing, and now I know I need to expand, but don't know how. So I did take a peek at her social media, and she is consistent on social media. However, her social isn't very robust. So one thing that we want to talk about really is going to be content here. Of course, it's going to be audience, but a lot of it is going to be messaging as well. Before we dive into that, I want to take 10 quick seconds and just say hello. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Madison Page. I'm the host of the Small Business Growth Podcast, and I am a business growth specialist. I help product-based business owners grow their small business by building a ride or die community around their brand. I like to teach in a fun conversational type of way. So if you want it to feel like it's kind of like sipping coffee with a biz bestie, make sure that you follow along. We have over 350 hours of business advice out there. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. This is a wonderful community where you can learn and grow from inside of your small business. So to answer this question for Jessika is, she feels like she's been in business a year, but she hasn't really been able to expand from outside of the friends and family cycle. Yes, of course, your initial answer is like, Maddie, I just want to go viral. Like, I have to go viral. I need new people in my audience, but virality is not always the point. So I looked at her Instagram, and she does have 800 to 900 followers on Instagram. That tells me that she probably has some eyes that are on her socials that are not actually overall converting. That tells me that there's probably more of a marketing issue than it is a social media issue. And so what we're looking at here is we just want to look at why, like, what are the overall numbers? If we look at 800, 900 followers, 10% of that is 80 or 90 customers. 5% of that is 45 to 50 customers. So of course, if those 45 or 50 are your friends and family, that makes sense. But really what this is telling me is that we aren't actually converting people as a whole. A lot of her marketing was around her product, was a lot around, look at how cute this is. This is something that I make. A lot of it was about being a small business owner. And so in my eyes, her messaging around her brand was actually kind of lacking. So my really overall advice to somebody that's stuck in the friends and family cycle is, I want you to first audit your social media. If you were to look at your social media right now, who would it naturally attract? Is it actually going to attract and provide value for your true ideal customer? Do you have an ideal customer? Do you know what the message is behind your brand? And if your answer to that is no, we have to start there. We have to look at, why is your content only being created around your product and being a small business owner? Is this something that other people are going to find interesting enough to want to stick around? And so for her Instagram, that was an area that we really do need to expand, is we need to change the messaging from being a small business owner or a day in the life, like this is some of the problems and like the funny, relatable elements of being a small business owner, to looking at her brand and saying, who is this person? What do they stand for? And how can we really expand from from there? How can we really get out to new people? So yes, it is an audience thing. If we do have more people, that's great. However, going viral or having more eyes, it does not fix marketing that is not going to convert. With this person's Instagram, even if she had 10,000 followers, with the marketing she had, her conversion rate was still going to be pretty low. Now, I don't know what her sales were, but she's saying her sales have kind of become non-existent once her friends and family have stopped buying from her. So in that overall mix, it's telling me that her organic audience that she has there is not buying, which means we first have to start at your content, get your content really structured, get a sales structure really, get a sales system really in place, and then work on growing more aligned customers. My first question for you would be, do you know who your ideal customer is? And not just like at a bare minimum, women between the ages of 25 and 45. My question for you, if you only have friends and family, is who is your ideal customer and what content are you creating that is actually going to make them want to come back? Are you providing them value? What questions do they have? What are they using in place of your product? And how can we put your product in a better light than what they are currently using inside of their business or inside of their life or inside of their like day-to-day routines? How can we put your product there instead? And so what we have to do is we first have to look at your ideal customer, identify that person, look at the overall message behind your brand. What are you all about there? And then create really high quality content to actually attract them. Now, I know that that can be really hard, as that feels like it's a little sticky sometimes. The algorithm can be against you. You're posting every day. But what we really have to look at is what makes you different than everybody else. And if you can really stand your ground in what makes you different, who you're trying to attract, why your product is so awesome, you will start to align those other people. You will start to grow. So first, we want to try to improve your messaging for the community that you have. I have a client that has 2,500 followers and she's making $150,000 a year in her product-based business selling $17 product. So it doesn't mean that you need a ton of people to make a good income in your business. It means that we really have to dig deep and build community there as well. So yes, we need to adjust your audience. Yes, we need to adjust your messaging. Yes, we need your content. But when was the last time you asked your audience a question? When was the last time you collaborated with them? When was the last time you focused just on building a community? A problem that I see a lot is people say, I only have friends and family that are buying from me, but you never actually take time to nurture new people into your community. That is something that is absolutely necessary. The buying cycle is a real thing. The buying cycle, there's a bunch of different ones, but it's awareness, interest, desire, action is the common one that people say. It's the AIDA model. It's awareness, interest, desire, action. If you just have people that follow you and they stick around, they're already aware of you and they're already interested in you. But in order to actually build desire, you have to nurture them into your community. You have to nurture them to a point of feeling really connected to your brand, to the message that you have, to being somebody that really wants to be active within your audience. Now, this doesn't have to be anything that's overly complex. It doesn't have to be anything that's overly hard. What you really have to do is you have to identify those foundational principles of your message, of your audience, of your brand, who you are, identify the messaging that really works, and how can we get these people involved as if this was an overall community? It is going to be an important point for you to really dictate. Now, you know that I preach community building. Community building is your strongest asset that you will ever build. So what I would recommend for you, Jessica, is actually taking a couple weeks, take a step back and just nurture the people that you have, asking them questions, getting them really nurtured into a community, creating a lot of content that provides value, building a little bit of a nurture season inside of your business, and try to almost reignite your social media. If you were to come to me with this, I would help you create kind of like a reigniting, a little bit of breathing fresh life into your overall content to speak to your ideal customer first. So first we would probably make some major changes, clarify your ideal customer and your messaging is where I would go. We would want to start there, make sure those pieces are solid and clear and you have full clarity on those pieces. Then we would go about looking at your content and breathing some fresh life into building a community. I want you to nurture the audience that you have before you actually try to grow, because I'm sure we could get you 10, 20 sales with the audience that you have in the next couple of weeks if you just actually take the time to properly nurture them into a community. Most of you actually have 10 sales right now in your audience, 10 people that are at least interested in your product, but you just haven't built enough desire in order to get them to take action. The hardest point, you can get somebody aware of you, you can get somebody interested in you, but to actually build desire is the hardest point. How you build desire is you work on building community. You work on getting them really connected to the brand. You work on providing them value around your industry to get them feeling super connected. And then the next time you sell, they're actually ready to buy because you haven't just tried to skip from interest to action. It's hard to get somebody from interest to action. There's just not enough emotion there yet. You have to dive in to that overall desire. So if you're stuck in this friends and family cycle, we want to get clear with your foundations. Then we want to breathe some fresh life into a content strategy, into building your community. And then once you feel like you've kind of gotten those people to start buying, you've gotten that organic marketing that is actually working, then we can start to try to do an awareness campaign. Then we can start to get new people into your audience and really start to grow. Then you can start to bring new people in, because more eyes will not fix marketing that is not selling in the first place. That's why a lot of people pour a bunch of money into ads and it doesn't quite work, is because they're just trying to pour more eyes into a marketing strategy that isn't working for them. That's not what we're trying to do. We first want to fix your marketing and then get more eyes. And even when you're trying to get more eyes, virality is not the overall goal. We're trying to look for sustained followers coming in, because virality is kind of like turning a fire hose on of just like everybody coming over to you. A lot of times, the majority of people don't actually have the capacity for virality right now. We don't want viral. We want consistent, we want sustainable, and we want people flowing throughout the weeks, because a lot of people, they go viral and then they can't actually maintain those people into their community. They have a lot of people that are upset. They're sold out. They can't keep up. We don't want virality. We want sustained followers. We want to find the most aligned, magnetized people that are perfect for your brand and start there, and then we can expand from there. So Jessica, this is a wonderful question. You are so not alone. There are a lot of people in my audience that kind of get stuck in this point, because you start your business, you get support, and you never really broke out of this friends and family like chronic cycle. What you have to do is we have to now go back to marketing principles, because it's easy to sell to your friends and family. They're there to support. It's nice. They're trying to really, help you out in the beginning, but that doesn't take any marketing, because they already know you. They're already connected to you. They already have some sort of similarity to you. They already feel that connection to you. So it's easy to convert them. So now what we have to do is we actually have to make people feel like they know you, like friends, family, and acquaintances on your social media. That is the missing point here, Jessica, is really figuring out how can we get your audience to feel like they are connected to your brand, like friends, family, and acquaintances, because that's why those people are buying. Why you're not getting these other people outside of friends and family to buy is because they don't feel true connection to you or desire for your product yet, because your marketing probably has that little bit of a gap there for you. So I would start there. This is really where you want to go. Clarify your foundations, breathe fresh life into your content, focus on building community and really connecting with your audience, building desire, and then try to grow from there and try to expand, because you already know what content is working to sell. You know your organic content is actually converting for you at a certain point. That's the thing that I would do. That is the support that I would give you if you were to ask me this question in kind of a coaching session from there. If you want to ask me a question that you have, anyone out there listening, make sure that you click the link in the show notes, join our free podcast community, the Small Business Cafe. You can ask the host there, and I would love to answer that question in one of my next podcast episodes. I hope that this was helpful for you. If you're stuck in this friends and family cycle, it's a tricky one. It's a doozy. You really have to look at these stages, and a lot of it is, most of the time, goes back to not having those solid marketing foundations or those core principles that is actually going to attract the right people to you. I hope this was helpful. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, and I will see you in the next episode.